Hey everybody, you guys out there? Because I'm in here. It is pouring here where I live. It really is. It's raining, the wind's blowing. You know what's a funny thing about the weather? Because we're all kind of stuck inside, and when it's a sunny day, you go, why is it sunny when we're all stuck in here? And then when it's rainy, you're going, why is it rainy? It's just because what it is. So my name's Bill Harley, in case you didn't know that. And here we are. I'm going to do a song, and then I'm going to do this story. We'll get to the story in a minute, all right? If you got potatoes and I got tomatoes, we could have dinner together. Well, eventually. If you got a raincoat and I got a tugboat, we'll sail no matter the weather. If I had some money and the sky was sunny, we could spend the day by the shore. You know I'd be glad to share what I had. That's what friends are for. If you're down on your luck, you don't have a buck, and there's holes in the toes of your shoes. You're scrounging for pennies, you can't find any, you got nothing left to lose. Don't you worry about dollars, give me a holler. Whistle, yellow, yodelay-yo. If I got a nickel, we'll go buy a pickle. I'd be happy to share it with you. If you got tomatoes and I got potatoes, we could have dinner together. If you got a raincoat and I got a tugboat, we'll sail no matter the weather. If I had some money and the sky was sunny, we could spend the day by the shore. You know I'd be glad to share what I had, and that's what friends are for. If the job that you got just makes your mind rot, and everybody takes you for granted, you're frying your mind to 5 from 9, you feel like you're on the wrong planet, don't mess with those blues, you got nothing to lose. You're walking from a place like that, while we can sing in the streets and be light on our feet, split what goes into the hat. If you got potatoes and I got tomatoes, we could have dinner together. Raincoats. If you got a raincoat and I got a tugboat, we'll sail no matter the weather. If I had some money, and the sky was sunny, we could spend the day by the shore. You know I'd be glad to share what I had. That's what friends are for. When you get older, if people get colder, they don't give you the time of day. They just ignore you, they don't care for you just 'cause your hair's gone gray or away. Don't you feel alone? Get on the phone, dial my number, give me a ring. I will be that way too, wearing corrective shoes. We can get together and sing. If you got potatoes and I got tomatoes, we could have dinner together. If you've got a raincoat and I got a tugboat, we'll sail no matter the weather. If I had some money and the sky was sunny, we could spend the day by the shore. You know I'd be glad to share what I had, and that's what friends are for. Oh, you know I'd be glad to share what I had. That's what friends are for. There you go. Boy, I wrote that song a long time ago. I often sing with my good buddy Len Cabral. Okay, so housekeeping. Birthdays. If you got a birthday next week, let me know and I'll say your name out loud. And then you'll be semi-famous in a very subterranean way. Okay, Lucy Atkinson turns 20 on April 11th. Happy birthday, Lucy. I'm glad you're still watching. See? I'm for everybody. And Arlo turns 8 on April 11th, too. Happy birthday, you two. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm sorry I won't be there on your birthday, but you're just going to have to settle for this. Okay, I'm going to do the good things later. I think that's enough right now. Okay, so listen to me. Are you listening? Are you with me? Okay. When I say, are you with me, then you can say, yeah, or do something on the buttons. Let me know you're with me, because Debbie's watching to see. She's watching to see if you're saying something. I can't see it. So anyway, I'm going to do this story for you, which a lot of people have asked for, and it's had this huge, long life. when I made it up or wrote it, I mean, a lot of it's based on stuff that really happened to me, mostly true. I had no idea. I put it on a cassette. I barely knew what I was doing, and somehow it touched a chord. And I especially want to give a shout out to Art Silverman, a producer at National Public Radio, who's a producer for All Things Considered, and he was driving around with this cassette in his car, and he decided he wanted to play it. They took up a third of All Things Considered one Labor Day to play the song, and then they did it for years afterwards. And I ended up doing work with All Things Considered for years because of this story. And I know it's been used in a lot of classrooms. A lot of teachers, good-spirited teachers, play it to their children to talk about homework. Now this story goes on for a while, and you might as well get comfortable. And if you're 4 years old and you don't have homework and you have never procrastinated about anything, maybe my faces will keep you entertained. But here we are. I don't know how long this goes. It goes till it's done. All right? Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there in a car. It's too far, Zanzibar. I want to tell you a story about something that happened to me. It's a story about homework. It's actually about Zanzibar. Zanzibar is an island off the east coast of Africa. It used to be its own country called Zanzibar. Now it's part of another country called Tanzania. I know all about Zanzibar and where it is and what its principal exports are because I learned about it in 6th grade. And I am really glad I learned about it in 6th grade because I'm telling you, that's why you go to 6th grade, because every day somebody comes up to me and asks me where Zanzibar is and what its principal exports are. And I know because I learned about it in 6th grade. That's why I went to 6th grade, because that's what I remember. Not only that, the same day I learned about Zanzibar, I learned about poems. And I write songs for a living, and songs are kind of like poems. So, I guess if it wasn't for Zanzibar, I wouldn't be here. Okay. Let me see if I can explain this to you. So, at 6th grade, I went to Delaware Trail Elementary School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Would you like to hear the Delaware Trail Elementary School song? I thought you would. You learn it in kindergarten. It goes like this. Kind of got to sing it in the kindergarten head, because Delaware Trails is the school for me. In Indianapolis, in the land of the free. We like to work. We like to play. We like to do things every single day. Delaware Trail School, best in the USA. Okay, that was a kindergarten song. Best school in the USA, then they took it apart. Okay. Anyways, but I went to Delaware Trail, and it was a kindergarten through 6th grade school. And in 6th grade, my homeroom teacher and the teacher for most of my subject was Mr. Revis. I had him for English and writing. He was very big on we were learning how to write in cursive. He was very neat. And we traded. I remember I traded for math. We had Mrs. Toon. We called her Miss Tuna Fish. That was kind of a 6th grade joke. And then we had Mr. Revis for geography, world geography. It was the last period of the day. We learned about all the countries of the world. Some of them we only talked about for a little bit. We talked about all of them. In the last period of the day, Mr. Revis would do his job. He would sit there on his desk, cross his legs, perched there like some strange bird, talking about all the countries in the world. That was his job. I would do mine, which was to watch the clock to make sure that we got out on time, and I was very good at it. So anyway, one day we're sitting there in class. It was the last period of the day, world geography, talking about all the countries in the world. Mr. Revis was perched on his desk doing his job, and I was doing my job watching the clock. And he said, okay, class, it's time to get ready to go home. And I said, you're right, Mr. Evans. He said, thank you very much, Bill. He said, before you do, I have to remind you, we're finishing up the African unit. And I assigned these reports several weeks ago. I want everybody to finish and hand in their report on Zanzibar. I'll be collecting them tomorrow. And also in the English unit, we're finishing up the poetry unit, and your poems are due, and that is your homework for the night. And I said, homework? He said, mm-hmm. I said, I can't. He said, why not? I said, I'm sorry to tell you, I hope you don't mind, but I don't really have the time. When I got home, I got things to do. I gotta clean up my room. I gotta walk the dog, wash my dad's car, clean my room, cut the yard. My brother's sick, it just makes me cry. And if I don't play with him, I think he might die. Last night I stayed up too late. Tonight I gotta go to bed at 8. And they're working on our house, and our room's a mess, and there's 3 tons of bricks sitting on my desk. And besides that, tomorrow morning, my mother leaves for Antarctica for the next 27 years, and this is our last night together. Mr. Evans said, too bad. How insensitive teachers are! He said, your reports are due. I walked out the door of the classroom, down the hallway, headed to the bus. I was in trouble because I had not done the poem or my report on Zanzibar. I didn't even know where Zanzibar was. Except I figured it was in Africa because, well, we were studying Africa. I was a good student. I got on the bus, leaned my head against a window thinking, no, I gotta do my dumb homework on Zanzibar. I can't do anything I want to do. I got to report on Zanzibar. I said it so much, it just kind of became a song. Zanzibar. Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there in a car. It's too far to Zanzibar. I kind of like that. I know it doesn't say much for me, but I did like it. I sang it again and again. As a matter of fact, I liked it so much, I made up some more. Another verse about Zanzibar. I didn't know if it was true, but it kind of fit in with the feeling of the song. It went like this. Zanzibar, they don't have tar. Put on roads to drive their cars. Men and women smoke cigars. There's no tar in Zanzibar. Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there. I was singing it. The kid sitting next to me on the bus got up and left. I don't know why. I didn't care. You with me? Good, okay. I got to my bus stop. I got off. I walked down the street, thinking about my homework, singing Zanzibar. I said to myself, Bill? Yeah? How are you? I'm okay. What's up? You know what we're going to do when we get home? What? You're going to go right to your room and do your homework. I am? Yeah, right away. I've never done that before. I know. Let's do it once. It'll be great. Just get it out of the way, and then you can go outside and shoot some baskets. You can watch TV tonight. Great idea. Okay. Let's go. Great. Good. We left. Well, I left. Walked down the street. Got home. I was going to do my report on Zanzibar. But first I had to have a snack, right? You got to have a snack when you get home. Are you with me? Right. That's what you do. When you go home, you have a snack. It's a rule in the kids' rule book about things you have to do when you get home from school. So I had a snack. It was actually a snack I invented, which you are welcome to make. I give you my permission. I invented it one day. It's called peanut butter skyscrapers. Here's what you do. You take a whole box of crackers. We had these saltine crackers. They were kind of minimalist crackers back then. They were not fancy because nothing we had was fancy. So anyway, you take a whole box of the crackers and a jar of peanut butter and a knife. And you open up the box of crackers and you take out a cracker and then you put some peanut butter on it. And then you put a cracker on top of the peanut butter, and then you put some more peanut butter on top of the cracker, and then you put another cracker on top of the peanut butter, and then there's more peanut butter, and there's cracker and peanut butter and cracker and peanut butter and cracker and peanut butter and cracker and peanut butter. And your brother comes in and goes, "What are you doing? What? You're wasting the food." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "What are you doing?" "I'm eating it." "Don't eat the food. We have to buy more." She would leave, and we didn't eat it. So I finished my snack. Go into my room. Couldn't do my report on Zanzibar. The phone rang. I said, I'll get it. I pick it up. I said, "Hello." "Hey, Bill, it's Paul." Paul, my friend Paul. He lived down the street. I
said, how you doing? He said, fine. Hey, Bill, I need your help. What? Yeah, I just got a present from my uncle for my birthday. It's this very complicated baseball game. Can you come down and help me? I said, I'm sorry, Paul, but I got homework. He said, what? I said, I got homework. He said, are you sick? I said, no, I've been putting it on. I've got to do it. He said, Bill, I can't do this without you. I need you. Come on. Just a minute. Come on. Okay. He's my best friend. He needed me. So I decided I'd play with him for a little bit and do the report on Zanzibar later. So I walked down the street. I got there and he showed me the game. It was a very complicated game. And as a matter of fact, I have to tell you, I just looked up on this game. It's still going. It is. It's this very complicated game. It's called Stratomatic Baseball. People still play it. It's very complicated. It has these cards for every player that's ever lived, and their batting average, and their slugging percentage, and their earned run average, and how many triples they hit in 1984. And it just goes on, and it took us a long time. It took longer to play than baseball days. It took us an hour and a half to play the first inning. Then we were into the second inning, and into the third inning. And Paul's mother says, Bill, you're going to be late for dinner. You better go home. Dinner? Yeah, it's dinner time. Oh, I forgot! Zanzibar. Oh, okay. I just do it right after dinner. So I walked home. I couldn't help it. It was stuck in my head thinking, Zanzibar is very far. I got home, had dinner with my family. I got up, I put my dish in the sink. I headed to my room to do my report on Zanzibar. My brother Bill said, my brother John said, I'm Bill. He was John. That was a mistake. Hey, Bill. I said, what? Quick game of ping pong in the basement. What? Yeah, one game. Just one game. I love ping pong. I always beat my brother. Made me feel better. Always feels good to beat your brother, doesn't it? So I went down and I played a game. And I lost. So I had to play another one. And I won. So we had to play a third one to see who would really win. It was a close game. I was up 10-8. Then it was up 12-8. I was up 13-8. Then it came back 13-9, 13-10, 13-11, 13-12. I went up 14-12, 15-12, 17-12. He comes roaring back 17-13, 17-15, 17-17. He cuts ahead at 18-17, 18-18, 19-18, 20-18. I come back 20-19, 20-20. My father calls down the steps. Don't you boys have any homework? We were very quiet. I know you're down there. We were still quiet. Because we had a theory about my father. Okay? So my mom and my dad were different. My dad would try to do something with us and then he would just get frustrated. He'd say, I mean it. You do it right now or this is the last. Oh, forget it. And he'd walk away. My mom was different though. My mom was not like that. My mom was like, you just see those little dogs, rat terriers, like that. Like they get a hold of something, and they shake it. That was my mom. She would get all, do your homework, get away, Mom. My dad was not like that. We thought maybe we would get away. So we were quiet. He said, I don't want to come down there. I was like, okay, don't, right now. I went up the stairs. Had to do my report on Zanzibar. I got in my room, got out a pad of paper, fresh piece of paper to write my report on Zanzibar. Picked up one of my pencils. It was dull, so I had to sharpen it, right? You gotta have a sharp pencil. So I went in the kitchen to sharpen the pencil, but the pencil sharpener was full, so I emptied that. And then I sharpened the pencil, but it was kind of short to begin with. By the time I got it really sharp, it was too short to write with, and it was going to be a long report. So I had to find another pencil. I couldn't find one in my room, and I looked around. I looked in the kitchen drawers. Finally, I went into my dad's room. I went into his desk. I pulled open the desk, and I was looking for a pencil, and there were some erasers in there, and there was this thing of glue, and open this drawer, there's all these old pictures. My dad was in the Navy, and there's pictures of him when he was in the Navy. I was like, wow, I've never seen these before. And he comes in the room, he says, what do you think you're doing? I'm looking for a pencil. This one right there. Oh, thanks. I said, get to work. I said, okay. I did, except the pencil was kind of dull, so I had to sharpen it. So I went in my room. I was going to do my report on
Zanzibar. I sat down at my desk. Zanzibar. Oh my gosh. There it was on my desk. It was this little aquarium I had. I'd had it for a while in this science experiment, trying to have a balanced aquarium where everything could live. And the experiment was over, except it was still evidently going on. There was this greenish black sludge growing on the sides. When I looked over the sides into the top, there, floating on the top, in a little bend, was a guppy. The fish are dying, the water's polluted, I better save them. I picked up the aquarium, I carried it in the bathroom, I flushed the dead fish and dirty water down the toilet, I cleaned inside the aquarium out. The spick's brand new. I said, man, I shouldn't have put this off. For some reason I remembered Zanzibar, Zanzibar. I went into my room. I was really going to do my report on Zanzibar. First I had to read about Zanzibar in my geography book. This geography book was huge and had everything you needed to know. So I reached back in my bed for my books, for my geography book. It wasn't there. Where's my geography book? Hey, John, do you have my geography book? He said, why would I want your geography book? Oh, no. I must have left it at home, at school. What was I going to do? I know what to do. I knew what to do. I had an answer because my parents loved me. Actually, I don't know if they loved me. They just didn't want me to be stupid. See, here's what happened. Now, some of you today are going, like, why don't you just go on the internet and Google Zanzibar, which is a great idea now, but back then you couldn't do that because the internet didn't exist. It wasn't there. There was something else you had to have. And here's what happened to a lot of people, a lot of families in America. My mom was at home. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And there was a knock on the door one day, in the middle of the day, and he opened the door, and there was a man there in a suit, a tie, and he had this big, huge suitcase. And he said, I have a question for you. And she said, what? He said, are you afraid that your children are stupid? And she said, yes, I'm afraid they are. They're idiots. They don't know anything. What can I do? And he said, I have an answer for you. May I come in? And she said, yes, anything to keep my children from being like they are. And he came in and he opened up the suitcase and there were thousands of books in the suitcase. It was the World Book Encyclopedia. And he said, if you buy the World Book Encyclopedia, your children will be smart. And she said, I don't believe it, but I can hope. And so she did. She bought 80 million volumes of the World Book Encyclopedia, the alphabet of information, and she put them on the shelves, and she said, now, children, you can be smart. Everything was in there, everything you needed to know, and we had them there in the living room so I could learn about Zanzibar. So I went into the living room. My dad was watching television. I said, what are you watching? He said, go do your homework. Don't be so touchy, I said. So I went over to the World Book Encyclopedia and I started to look all the way down. There was the A, it was a big fat A, and then there's a big fat C, and, you know, and the F and the G, and there was a big fat S. And you get all the way down to the end where Z was, the last letter. But it wasn't there by itself. It was this little skinny volume with 3 other letters. WXYZ. What was that about? Big fat A. WXYZ. C. WXYZ. S. WXYZ. It was easy to see what had happened. They got tired. They got tired of doing it. They said, we're sick and tired of this. We've been doing it for years. Let's just put the last 4 letters in one volume and get out of here. I could understand that. But there it was, the Z with the W, X, and the Y. So I picked it up. I headed back to my room. Stopped to see what my brother was doing. He was doing his homework. What a weird thing to do. I went back to my room. I opened up the book, turned to Zanzibar, and there it was. But there was just one paragraph. It said what their population was and what their principal exports were. And that was good. Principal exports, you know, what they grow or make and sell to other people. That was good. Principal exports. Mr. Revis loved principal exports. But that was all there was. I mean, there should have been more. And there was more once.
But then it was gone because my brother, when he was little, had liked the picture of the zebra on the other side, so he ripped out the page, and now there was just one paragraph about their principal exports. What was that? That wasn't enough for a report. It said Zanzibar, they grew cloves. I didn't even know what a clove was. It said they grew ground nuts. What a weird thing, a nut just lying around on the ground. And sugarcane. Zanzibar and cloves, and Zanzibar and sugarcane, Zanzibar, ground nuts. I just fit it in a song. It said, Zanzibar, they grow cloves. What they're for, I don't know. Maybe they put them between their toes. In Zanzibar, they grow cloves. In Zanzibar, they grow ground nuts. People who grow them live in huts. In Zanzibar, they grow sugar cane. They grow and they need lots of rain. Zanzibar, Zanzibar. Stop it! I said stop it! I gotta get this done. Oh! I cannot do my report. Okay, well, I started to think, okay, that was the second part of the day when the report was done. Maybe I could do it during recess or something, but the poem. Okay, I was going to write the poem. But now it's getting late. I couldn't think of what to write. I said, okay, maybe if I lie down on my bed, I'll think better. I'll just try to think, imagine a poem. So I lay down on my bed, I closed my eyes trying to think of a poem, but all I could think was, Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very... The next thing I knew, my mom was waking me up. She said, Bill. What? What are you doing? What? You're still in your clothes. It's midnight. What? Yeah. Put your pajamas on. You gotta go to bed. No, Mom. I said, I can't. I haven't done my homework. She said, well, honey, it's too late for that. You have to do it in the morning. Really? Yeah. Wait. You're my mom? Yeah. And you're telling me not to do my homework? Not now, it's too late. Okay. You should always listen to your mother. When your mother tells you it's too late to do your homework, it's too late, so stop it. I thought, I'll get up early in the morning and maybe I'll write the poem. But I was late getting up. We had a fight about who was going to go to the bathroom first. I was looking in the bottom of the cereal box for some little toy that wasn't there. I spilled them. Cheerios on the floor, I had to clean them up. I barely made it to the bus. I sat on my seat on the bus, I got a piece of paper, I was gonna write a poem, but the only thing I could think was, Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very far. I got into school, there was 10 minutes before school was gonna start, I hadn't done any of my homework. I got out a piece of paper, I was gonna write a poem, and into the classroom came Cynthia Stewart. Cynthia Stewart sat next to me. It felt like Cynthia Stewart had sat next to me for 7 years. Every time I came into a class, there was Cynthia Stewart sitting next to me. And sometimes Cynthia was all right, but sometimes she wasn't. And this morning, she wasn't. She waltzed in the room. She put down her 27 books on the desk. She said, "Hi, Bill." "Hi, Cynthia." "Did you do your report?" "Almost. I did mine last week. I like to get things done early, don't you?" "Yeah, it's a great idea." "Would you like to see it? I'm very proud of it." I was just about to say no when I got an idea. Okay, well, listen. Mr. Revis was a very progressive teacher, or at least progressive for the time. Sometimes it wasn't just a matter of writing things. He would like us to give oral reports about the work that we had done. And it occurred to me that perhaps I could give an oral report. I could stand up with a bunch of paper that looked like my report, and then I could give the report, and that might do until the next day. So I needed to know more about Zanzibar, and I said, sure, I would love to see your report. She said, "Here it is," and she took it out of her book bag, and she handed it to me. It had one of those little clear blue plastic covers on it. I don't even know to this day where people get clear blue plastic covers. And the first page of the report wasn't even the report. It was a map. a map that she had made of the island of Zanzibar and all the water and the oceans and the gulfs and everything around it. And it had all the population centers, and it had the mountains on Zanzibar, and it had all these other things. And Cynthia had a box. She had a box in her desk of 128 Crayola crayons with a built-in crayon sharpener, and she had used every one of those 128 Crayola crayons on it, even flesh, whatever that means. You know how many crayons I had? 8. 4 brown, 2 yellow, a black, and a magenta. And her report was 9 typewritten pages long. I never typed anything in my life. I didn't know there were 9 typewritten pages about anything, let alone Zanzibar. I said, "Did your mom type this?" She said, "No, I love to type. I type 75 words a minute." I said, "That is disgusting." She said, "What?" I said, "Nothing." I started to read the report. And there on page 4 of the report, I came upon something I didn't know. Another product. That's right. They grew tea. Yeah, they grew tea. I said, "Tea." She said, "What?" I said, "Tea. Zanzibar. Zanzibar, Zanzibar. In Zanzibar they grow tea. Far away across the sea, off the coast of Africa. In Zanzibar they grow tea. Zanzibar." Ah! She said, "What song?" He said, Nothing. I've got a stupid song in my head. I got to get it out of my head. So maybe I thought if I wrote it down. So I took a piece of scrap paper out on the bottom of my desk. My desk was bottomless. There were endless things down there. Papers from first grade were still floating around on my 6th grade desk. I took out a piece of scrap paper. I wrote down all the stupid words, the stupid song about stupid Zanzibar, and stupid school started, and I hadn't done any of my stupid homework, and I know I'm not supposed to say the word stupid, but you know what? It was. I hadn't done any of my homework. We traded classes for math. We had English. Mr. Evans was going to collect the poems. It was the first time he was going to find out I hadn't done any homework. But first, we had our subject for the day. It's a subject that people don't study very much anymore. It's too bad, because I suffered through it. I don't see why you shouldn't suffer through it. Maybe you could study it at home. You could go online and learn about it. Your parents would teach diagramming sentences. Do you know what diagramming sentences are? Okay, I'll tell you. What you do is you write a sentence up on the board, and then you kill it. Ha, 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 ha. You take all the words until they don't mean anything. You go, "What is this?" Mr. Revis loved diagramming sentence. "What's this?" "It's a noun, Mr. Revis." "Kill it!" Ah! "What's this?" "It's a verb." Ah! "Kill it, kill it, kill it. This is an independent clause. It has to die." There were words lying on the floor. I can't live anymore. He killed sentences all morning long. And finally he turned to the class and said, "Oh, I feel better. Let's go on to the next subject." He'd forgotten. He'd forgotten to collect the poems. I loved it when he did that. Don't you love it when teachers forget to collect the assignments? I think the world would be a better place if teachers assigned more and collected less. That was great. I was free for the day from the poem. That meant all I had to do was stay in during recess, go down to the library, find out about Zanzibar, write a report, and I'd be in the clear. But I didn't, because my friends playing a big game of basketball, and I love basketball, so I went out and played, and our team won, so I played another one, and before I knew it, it was time to come back in from recess, and we had our next class. Health. I think they taught us how to brush our teeth that day. You know, I gotta tell you about this brushing your teeth thing. Every time I go into the dentist, still, like for 60-something years, people have been telling me how to brush my teeth. Every time I meet someone who knows about brushing teeth, they tell me how to do it again. Anyway, so that's what we learned in health, how to brush our teeth. Then finally, we got to the last period of the day. Social studies, world geography, the African unit. Mr. Revis sat at his desk,
perched there like some strange bird, doing his job, talking about all the countries of the world, and I did my job. Watched the clock, wondering, is Mr. Revis going to be the best teacher twice in one day? Mr. Revis is talking about one country after another, and the clock is moving and moving, and he's talking. I said, just keep talking, Mr. Revis, you're doing a great job. I love all these countries. It was almost time to go, and he said, all right, class, we're about done for the day. I'd like your reports. Please hand them to the front. Everybody around me lifted up their desks. We had these desks that you lift up and you go inside them. So I opened up mine. Everybody looking for their reports. I looked for mine. I couldn't find it. And then a bunch of reports came up to me, and I put them in the desk like I was rearranging things. And then I closed the top of the desk. I straightened up and I handed them up. And Mr. Revis came across the front of the room, collecting them aisle by aisle till they got to my aisle. He had these little glasses. He would look over like this. He said, Bill? Yeah. Your report? Oh, my report? Yeah. Your report? Huh? The Zanzibar report? Oh, right, Zanzibar report, yeah. May we have it? Oh, you want the Zanzibar report? Yours isn't in there. Oh, yeah, I know, it's not. Yeah, not there. Do you have it? What? Do you have the Zanzibar report? What? Did you do your report? Huh? Did you do your Zanzibar report? Yeah! I mean, I did it really. I was almost done, but then this guy came in my room last night with a gun. He said he was going to tie up in a chair, cut off my toes, and shave my hair if I didn't give it to him. Actually, I sold it to the New York Times for $1 million. I was walking into school and I dropped it and it got run over by a Big Mac truck. He said, do you have the Zanzibar report? I said, what? Do you have the report or not? I said, not quite. He said, you don't have the report. You don't have the Zanzibar report. I don't have the Zanzibar report. No Zanzibar report. Why not? Listen, I assigned the Zanzibar report. Did everybody here do their report? Bunch of creeps. Yeah, we all did ours, Mr. Revis. He said, why did you not do the Zanzibar report? For some reason he lost it. Maybe it was because of the end of the day. He said, I want you to read about Zanzibar, write about Zanzibar, think about Zanzibar. That's all we're doing is Zanzibar. That's all I ask you is the Zanzibar report. You can't do a Zanzibar report. That's all I want. Where is the Zanzibar report? Well, he's going, Zanzibar, 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 Zanzibar. And I can't help it. I'm just thinking, Zanzibar, Zanzibar. And he said, what? Huh? What were you just doing? What were you doing? The kid behind me says, he was singing, Mr. Revis. Oh, fine. Fine, Bill. I'm talking to you about your failure to do your homework, and you think it's a good idea to waste valuable class time by singing. Well, yeah. Well, since it seems to be so important, perhaps you'd like to tell us what you were singing about. I said, I'm sorry, Mr. Revis, I don't know. I made up this dumb song about Zanzibar, and he said, oh, you didn't have time to do your report, but you did have time to make a song. Yeah, I guess so. Well, then perhaps you'd like to sing it for the class. I said, no, that's all right. The class says, sing it, sing it. Mr. Revis walks across the room. He sits there at his desk. He crosses his leg, perched there like a strange bird, and says, we're waiting. And I don't know what I did. Are you with me? It might have something to do with where I am today, but for some reason, I walked to the front of the class. Go ahead, Bill. We've got time. So I said, Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there in a car. It's too far to Zanzibar. And I might have stopped right there, but one person laughed. And that is all it takes. Zanzibar, they don't have tar to put on roads to drive their cars. Men and women smoke cigars. There's enough tar Zanzibar. Somebody clapped. Zanzibar. They grow groundnuts. People who grow them live in huts. Zanzibar, there's sugar cane. They grow it, they lots of rain. Zanzibar, they grow clothes. What they're for, I don't know. Maybe they put them between their toes. In Zanzibar, they grow clothes. Zanzibar, they grow tea. Far away across the sea, off the coast of Africa. Zanzibar, they grow tea. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there in a car. It's too far to Zanzibar. People went nuts. Except for Cynthia. She said, Mr. Revis, Mr. Revis, Mr. Revis, that is not true. That is not true, Mr. Revis. There's tar in Zanzibar. It's on page 5 of my report. And Tommy Alton said, oh, Cynthia, would you please shut up? And Mr. Revis sat there at his desk like this. He used to sit like that a lot. Mostly at the end of the day. You know, we'd supposed to be going on to another subject, and he'd be just sitting there at his desk like this, not moving. Somebody say, is he alive? I said, I can't tell. I think he's drooling. And then the day would finish sometimes, he'd just be sitting there, so we'd just all get up and tiptoe out. We'd come back the next morning, he'd still be like this. Just sat like that for a long time. Finally, he dropped his hand. He looked at me like this. This. And when I was a kid in 6th grade, I didn't know what that meant. But now I do, because I'm a grown-up. It means like this. Hey, I don't need this. I could be selling insurance. My brother's in real estate. I could just sell houses. I don't need this. And just then, the bell rang, telling people it's time to get on their buses. We all got up. I just grabbed my thing to run out there. I said, wait a minute, class. Wait, back to your desk. I forgot to collect your poems. Poems! Oh no, he wanted the poem too. Now I was really gonna die. And he was looking right at me. I went back to my desk thinking what I was gonna do. And I thought, I'm just gonna get a piece of scrap paper and I'm gonna hand it in. And then he'll say that was the wrong thing tomorrow morning. I say, oh, and I'll write a poem that night. And so I'll have it. It's just a mistake. That's what I was gonna do. So I just open up the desk and I grab a piece of paper. I just write my name on it while he's looking at me. And I hand it up to him. And as it's going out of my hand, I see it's all the stupid words, the stupid song about Zanzibar. And I run out the door before he can catch me because I don't want him to yell at me again. And I got on the bus, leaning my head against the window as Mr. Anderson pulls out in the bus driver, and I'm looking out the window and I said, Bill, what's wrong with me? What? Why didn't you do it? What? Why didn't you do your homework? Oh no. It's not like it's that hard. I know. Then why did you do it? It's not hard. Then why? Well, it's not hard to do, but it's hard to sit down and do. What? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does, I said. You know, it's like once you do it, it's not hard. The hard thing is to start doing it. Like it's hard to sit down and do it. If there's nobody making you sit down and do it, then it's hard to do because the sitting down part is hard. The doing's not hard. But the sitting, I said, that's dumb. I said, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I got into an argument with myself. It is hard to do. It's still the hardest thing to do when there's nobody there to make you do it. I got home. That night, I wrote a poem. It was about a flower. Because I thought poems were supposed to be about flowers. I came into school the next day. Mr. Revis didn't have a hard time sitting down and grading the papers. He must have been up all night. Because they were all back. He put them on our desks, waiting for us. I'm walking across the room, people grabbing their papers, their poems and reports going, what'd you get? What'd you get? What'd you get? I hate that. Like it's some kind of contest. Who got the best? I hate that. I still hate it. I walked across the room and there on my desk were 2 pieces of paper. I hadn't handed in 2 pieces of paper, just one, that scrap paper. I picked up the top one, it was that scrap paper with the words to the song. Mr. Revis had written at the top, nice poem, B+. I got a B+ for a poem, a song. Mr. Revis thought it was a poem. It was good. There was still that other piece of paper, and it wasn't mine because I hadn't handed anything in.
Went over and picked it up. It was in Mr. Revis's handwriting. His very neat handwriting. He was the best handwriter in the whole school. Top he'd written Bill Harley. Underneath that he'd written Zanzibar report. Underneath that he'd written, your oral report on Zanzibar is good work, except the Cynthia is right. There is tar in Zanzibar, B-. I got a B- for a report I didn't do. I looked across the room. Mr. Revis was glaring at me. I said, thank you, Mr. Revis. He said, do your morning work. I will. Never again, Bill. I said, okay. Oh my gosh. I started to do my morning work. Cynthia Stewart came in. She ran across the room. She grabbed her paper. She said, Bill, I got an A. I said, good for you, Cynthia. You deserve an A. Anybody who gets 128 Crayola crayons on one piece of paper deserves an A in my book. Not only that, she done what she was supposed to do. All right, listen to me. I knew I was lucky. You think I tried to get away with stuff again? Sure. I didn't get away with it, though. But although I knew I was lucky, something else happened to me that day. Everybody else had done what they were supposed to do, and that's good. But me, I'd done something else. I'd done something that nobody else had done. I wrote a song. Now, the truth is, it's still hard for me to sit down and do things when nobody else is there to make me do them. Hardest thing there is. One of the things I've learned is the things that you really want to do, nobody tells you to do them. They're always telling you to do something else. The things you want to do, you have to do yourself. You think I was supposed to write songs for kids and be a storyteller? Do you think somebody told me to do that? No. I was supposed to be a lawyer. I did this myself. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar is very far. You can't get there in a car. It's too far to Zanzibar. Whoa! Let me put this over here. Okay, so, there you go. I don't even know how long that took. It took as long as it takes. So, I asked people last week that things are hard, and they're not, doesn't appear to me that they're any easier this week than they are last week. In some ways, it's harder because we're still stuck on top of each other. We all need to give each other a break, but I said rather than just focusing on how hard this is and how horrible and sad too, it's good to remember that the world is big and there's room for good things too. So I asked you to send in some things. You can go to my website. You can go to my, the Miniconcerts page on my website, billharley.com, or you could just post something here on the Facebook page right now about a good thing that's happened to you this week. It just can be a really little thing, but one good thing. So we keep that in front of ourselves. And Katie C. wrote in to say, L, I assume these are people in her family. L says, wearing my favorite dress. Yeah, might as well get dressed up every once in a while. M wrote, I almost finished a new good book. Kind of wondering what that good book is. H says, new skates. Okay, sounds like something to try outside. And Mom said, the garden is planted, warm and sunny days, and a sleeping puppy. Sleeping puppies are good. They're very cute when they're asleep. So listen, I want to thank all the people who have made a donation. I'm genuinely touched that people have done that. This is my work right now, such as it is. So I don't need a lot, but if a donation's really appreciated. And if you visit my Miniconcerts page on my website, billharley.com, you can send birthday shout-outs or song requests, and like I said, good things that are happening in your house. So, there's a story of Zanzibar. People say, is that true? And I say, a lot of it is. Or, if it isn't, it should be. Or, was it a good story? Take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Hang in. We'll get through it together. Bye-bye.